Here we are again, playing Super Mario Bros. Wonder to find out which claims are true and which ones are a straight up lie. Today we will look at a couple of things. For example, can Yoshi eat a bomb without blowing up? What happens if you transform while on top of a Yoshi? And will the flowers be mad if you silence them? Well, let's find out. Number 15. Now, in basically every Super Mario game, people want to find tricks, shortcuts and glitches to break the game or beat it faster. And in the comments of a recent video, this commenter claimed that if you use a drill power-up and the boosting spin jump badge, then you can skip the huge spike wall seen during the Wonder effect in the level Desert Mystery by just going on top of it. And this would create an effect that looks like a soft lock, but then after 10 seconds a yellow flower would appear and a bunch of stuff happens. Now, I had no idea if this was even possible or a thing in the game, so I went there and tried it. But in the end, I couldn't get on top of it. I didn't go high enough to get on top. And when I looked online, I couldn't find anything either. But I did find this, a much easier skip that just requires some good timing. So there is a way to get to the Wonder Seed faster. However, I do not think that this trick mentioned by the commenter actually works. Number 14. One thing I don't like about some Nintendo games is that they make it too easy and kid-friendly. However, they didn't do this in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Sure, there are some easier levels, but also loads that are incredibly difficult. And for the people who can't deal with that, the badges as well as certain characters can help. A good example is Yoshi. He has a flutter jump, for example. But someone in the comments suggested an interesting experiment. Ditto asked, if Yoshi has the floating high jump badge, will he perform a double flutter jump? Well, who knows? So I went into the first level as Yoshi with that badge equipped and jumped. And yeah, it's a real thing. You can see the first one here, and then if I hold the button, a second one. It even allows you to jump much higher. So this claim is true, and it isn't useless either. Number 13. In a lot of these videos, we've tested what Yoshi can eat and what happens when he eats certain things. And we will do that in this video as well. Sahara said that if you're Yoshi and stack another Yoshi on top, you can eat two enemies at the same time when pressing Y, which makes sense. So I went into the first level to try this powerful combo on some Goombas. Now, I did have to press Y on both controllers to do it, but it is possible. As you can see, I was able to eat two Goombas at once. But I don't think that this would be useful most of the time. Number 12. Now, this next myth was hotly debated in the comments, because some said, yeah, this is possible, while others claimed that this isn't a thing. The claim is simple. This commenter said that if you have a drill mushroom and stay crouched on solid ground you can't dig into, then any Koopa Troopas that walk into you will instantly die. Now, I wanted to end this whole discussion, so I went into a level where I could find Koopa Troopas and tried this. I got the power up, crouched down on these musical blocks, and waited for these roller skating Koopa Troopas to bump into me. And as you can see, it works. They all died as soon as they touched me. So clearly it does work, which means that this commenter wasn't just lying. Number 11. The next myth is simple. We all know that the characters strike a certain pose and say something when picking up some of the power-ups seen in the game. And the most famous example is the elephant fruit. If someone picks it up, they say wowie zowie. But according to JT Studios, if you grab this power-up when you're in your metal form, which is caused by a Wonder effect, the player character will say nothing. So I went into one of the levels where this is seen, turned into Metal Mario, and used an elephant fruit. But I still heard him say wowie zowie. Here, just listen. Sure, it's a bit harder to hear with everything going on, but he certainly says it. So this claim is just wrong. Number 10. The bubble flower is pretty annoying. It can kill almost any enemy in the game, however it isn't perfect. We've seen in the past that it doesn't always win, and today we will test it on an enemy that it might not beat. Logan said that you can kill lava bubbles with this power-up, even though lava pops these bubbles. Now, I had no idea if any of this was true, so I had to test two things. Does lava pop these bubbles, and can they be used to kill the lava bubbles? First, I tried to kill those jumping hell spawns because it would make my life a whole lot easier. And as you can see right here, it instantly takes them out without any trouble. So that is true. But what about hitting lava? Well, that does actually break the bubbles, but weirdly enough, they can kill this enemy made out of the exact same stuff, which doesn't make sense. However, I will say there's a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense in this game, so I will allow it. Number 9. The next one is simple and not really a myth in my opinion, but still I quite like these two little Easter eggs, so I wanted to include them. Archie said that in the levels Wonder Token Tunes and Bouncy Tunes, you can hear the bonus stage music from Super Mario World and Delfino Plaza from Super Mario Sunshine, and I had noticed this when playing through these levels. So yeah, this is true, but it isn't some massive secret. However, I do want to say, it's great to see Nintendo experiment with fun musical themes in this game. Heck, some of the Wonder effects do this as well. Number 8. One thing developers love to do is add little secrets. Things that you will only see if you pay close attention. And according to Midas Mel, Super Mario Bros. Wonder also has little secrets. Because at the beginning of the game, you can see Nabbit peeking out of a bush. Now, I don't always pay close attention to stuff like this, so I had to check if this was a thing. But when I looked at footage of the beginning of the game, I could see that she wasn't lying about this. Here you can see Nabbit for a split second poking his head out of a bush. But it doesn't last long. As you can see, all the playable characters are seen during the intro of the game, so obviously Nabbit is there as well. So yeah, this claim is true. Number 7. One badge that is great and terrible at the same time is the jet run. Sure, you're super fast, but man, dealing with it can be tough. So only real experts can use this. However, this is the case on land. What would happen if you go underwater? That's what Kimberly asked me. She said you can't use it underwater. So I attempted it, but I found something interesting. Sure, when you're underwater and try to run, then this badge doesn't work. However, when you run into the water and have momentum, you will continue to go incredibly fast and slow down in time. So in a way you can use the jet run badge in water, but only if you first run on land before entering the water, and it doesn't last forever. But for the most part, Kimberly is right. Number 6. Like I mentioned before, I sometimes miss little details in games, and it seems like I missed another one. Heather said that in the level Sproings in the Twilight Forest during the Wonder effect, the music pitch shifts based on whether you're stretched or not. So I went there to listen, and when I did it, I noticed something. Yes, there's a difference, but it's not a pitch shift. It sounds more muffled. Here, just listen. Clearly, the commenter isn't 100% right, but still, for the most part, this claim is true. Number 5. Both Yoshi and Nabbit have special abilities. For example, they can't take damage in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and they also have their own powers. For example, Yoshi's tongue and Nabbit's incredible speed. But how fast is he really? Is Nabbit faster than a skedaddler? One of the fastest, if not the fastest enemy in the entire game. That's what this commenter wondered, and I thought that this was super interesting. So I attempted to beat one of these cowards. However, I quickly noticed that Nabbit was fast, but not fast enough. At best, they were matched. Now, I think this is the case because this enemy uses rubber banding like Wiggler. However, the skedaddler is always faster. So, Nabbit can't win. I tried it multiple times, and it's just impossible. Number 4. I will keep this next myth short, because in the end, it isn't the most special thing. Now, this commenter claimed that if you collect a Wonder Flower that transforms you into something different, and you're riding on Yoshi's back, you can stack on top. Now, this confused me a bit, and didn't make much sense, but still, I tried it. I went into the level Wubba Ruins, where you can turn into a slime. And here I could see that when Mario was riding Yoshi, he was instantly taken off of him when transforming. Now, afterwards, I did try to ride Yoshi again, again. But that wasn't possible either, which makes sense, he's a slime now. So yeah, it was clear to me pretty quickly that this claim was a bit vague and also false, as far as I could test. Number 3. In an older video, we looked at what would happen if Yoshi eats a lava bubble or dry bones, because people claimed that doing this would lead to some cool effects that could be amazing when fighting certain enemies. However, now we are going to revisit this, but instead of eating one of those enemies I mentioned earlier, we will be eating this thing, a melon piranha plant, an enemy that shoots melon seeds at you, which is something that Nintendo took from an earlier title they made, Yoshi's Island. And according to Marta, if you eat one of these as Yoshi, then you can shoot seeds. So I ate one of them, and as you can see, she was right. And you can do this for a pretty long time as well, which is really cool and super useful to take out enemies from a distance, because they are pretty accurate as well. They fly in a straight line. So yeah, this is true and great. Number 2. Sometimes I read a comment that claims something and I become incredibly excited, with this one being an amazing example. Ultimate Gamer James said that if you lower the volume of the flowers seen in the game, then they will get mad at you. So I dove into the menu of the game to try and lower the volume, but when it comes to the voices, the only thing I could do was turn them off, which I did. But when I went into a level, I didn't notice a difference. In the end, they said the same stuff, but they could only communicate using text. I tried all of this in the first level and even checked multiple flowers. So yeah, I do not think this is an actual thing, even though it would be great if this was a thing. But no. However, it could be that this was a scrapped feature. I mean, originally they also wanted to add additional dialogue where the flowers were quite mean, but that was scrapped. However, I'm quite certain that this claim is false. Number 1. Now sure, Yoshi can eat loads of enemies, which either instantly kills them or even allows Yoshi to perform new attacks. But what will happen if he eats a bomb? A living explosive that at some point will blow up. This is something I thought of myself, because in a previous video we forced Yoshi to eat this firework while it was going off, risking his life and potentially putting him in a wheelchair for life, like a World War II veteran who encountered a shoe mine. And yeah, I mean, I don't have any morals or believe in the concept of sin, so I was willing to put Yoshi's life on the line once again. Now, one place where I could find them was on one of Bowser's airships, so I went to one of them and ate up a bomb right before it would explode. However, after doing so and waiting and waiting and waiting, nothing really happened. And when I spit it out, I even saw that the timer had reset, which could be super handy, but it wasn't the effect I wanted. As far as I could see, this thing won't explode in Yoshi's mouth no matter what I do. So yeah, this isn't true. And I guess Yoshi lives another day. Now those were all the myths we had to cover, but don't forget, I made more videos like this, so go check them out. And if you have any myths I need to test, leave them down below and you might be featured in a video. And don't forget, like and subscribe, it really helps.